Through the 2 seasons that this core has been together, it has been nothing but successful in the regular season, no matter the opinion. Ending last season as the 4 seed is a success of a season regardless, and with this season they are currently the 2 seed. Now obviously this team has grown a lot and is only in human nature to want to know why and how they did this. Well, in this video we are going to go through the eye test and analytics of what they have been doing and why this core 4, more importantly, the numbers between Garland and Mitchell and Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley can and will work. Going through an in-depth analysis on the play-by-play system and stats to intervene with it. Now without further stalling, let's find out how well they work. Let's start with my favorite part of analyzing NBA players, the stats. First, the individual stats of the core 4, starting with the best player, the MVP, the king in Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell. This season, Mitchell has been nothing short of a necessity for the reason why the Cavs are the 2 seed. On the season, he's averaging 28.4 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 6.3 assists per game, 1.9 steals per game, with 44 games played this season. This is all career highs across the board. To say he's an all-NBA player is an understatement. In reality, he is one of the best statistical players this season, and this is being shown since he is the number 8 in MVP voting. He leads the Cavs in 3 out of the 5 major stats for the Cavs. He alone is the engine that runs this team into the right direction. He's 4th in points per game, 2nd in steals per game, and to show how dominant he has been lately, in the month of February he is averaging 29 points per game, 2 steals, 6 assists, and shooting 42% from 3 on 9 attempts per game, and with a 51% field goal rate. Donovan Mitchell is having the best season of his career, and if any of this translates to the playoffs, he can single-handedly wield this team to an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Next up is the highly believed in Evan Mobley, the next great big. Now, not much of Mobley has been shown in this season due to the knee surgery, and he will not be getting any awards due to the new rule. But aside from that, Mobley is averaging 16 points, 10 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1.5 blocks per game in 31 games this season. Defensively, we know exactly what he can do. He finished top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year race last year, and was an all-defensive first team his sophomore year. The only problem about Mobley lies on the offensive side. But even then, he is heavily, and I mean heavily, improved on that side since his return. Most notably, his willingness to expand the range. Over the month of February, which is since his return, he has averaged 17 points, 3 stocks, 10 rebounds, and wait to hear this, a whopping 57% from 3 on almost 4 attempts per game. Over this, he has shot 14 threes. Of that 14, he has made 8 of them. Now obviously it's not a reliable volume, but to say he's a threat from 3 now is definitely a step in the right direction. Now with Evan Mobley, he's not a player that we are going to see take a jump statistically. His prime will probably be at most 20 points per game, but we will see the eye test of him improve insanely. The way he scores and will be able to create his own shot is how we are going to see him take that stride that we have all been waiting for. Evan Mobley will be the future of the franchise and the player for the Cavs. Regardless if Donovan Mitchell stays or not, Mobley at his full potential could be a player like Giannis. Obviously wouldn't look like him physically, but the way he brings up the ball to the court, is able to shoot and dunk over anyone, has the defensive capability to be even better, and the developing 3 coming in, he can very easily be an MVP one day. With the inspiration back in Jarrett Allen, he's starting to play like an all-star once again. This season he's averaging 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 1 block per game in 49 games played. With Jarrett Allen, he is not a player that is going to improve much more than he is now, but that's not a bad thing at all. Allen is currently 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year race and has been the anchor for the Cavs defense as a whole. He is the main reason why the Cavs are 2nd in defensive rating as well. Over the month of February, Jarrett Allen has been averaging 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 1 block on 62% field goal rate. Jarrett Allen has been an absolute revelation for the Cavs this season, showcasing his immense talent and versatility on both ends of the court. His exceptional rim protection has been instrumental to the Cavs' improved defensive performance as well. Allen's offensive game has flourished. He's becoming a reliable scorer in the paint and a dominant force in the glass, grabbing rebounds at an impressive rate. Meanwhile, his athleticism combined with his basketball IQ has made him a vital component for the Cavs' success this season, and his impact extends far beyond the box score. Jarrett Allen's contributions have undoubtedly elevated the Cavs' performance, making him one of the standout players in the league this season. With the last player, and probably the most controversial one this season alone, is Darius Garland. Garland has been a little bit of a disappointment to some this season, and the stats kind of prove this. On the season, Garland is averaging 18 points, 6 assists, and a career worst 3.3 turnovers per game. Now we all know what Garland is capable of. We've all seen and witnessed him do it, and we knew his numbers would dip when Mitchell got here, but not this low. Now, is Garland regressing? Is he washed already at 24? No. But the long answer is he's lost his confidence, and we can tell he lost it too. Since his return in February, he is averaging 13 points, 7 assists, and only 32% from 3. By far the worst we have seen him since his rookie year. But this is merely a slump he is in. He's not shooting enough for the type of player he is. Since he came back, he's only attempting 10 field goals on a game. He's not shooting a bad percentage either. He's shooting 46% on those attempts. But when we start to look at the numbers between Garland and Mitchell, we obviously see Mitchell's the better player in almost every single way. But the real question we should be asking is, how well do they work on the same team? More importantly, the same backcourt. Well, obviously this duo is amazing. This duo is already solid together despite the lack of time given for the preparation. Garland and Mitchell have shared the floor in 59 games last season and together averaged 50 points a game with an offensive rating of 117.7. But this season, it's very simple for them to really work as a duo. Garland just needs to step it up. The only way this duo will work if Garland can get back into that 2021 player he was, the Garland we all miss. His importance as a lead ball handler has dwindled by Donovan Mitchell revamping their offensive approach. The new look Cavs are a space and pace team that values ball movement and volume shooting. While Garland appears to be a seamless fit in this type of system, the results have varied. The Cavs looked the best when the ball is being shared. For the first quarter of the season, Cavs ranked just 18th in passes with an overall record below 500. But Garland's absence from December 15th to late January, the Cavs passed the rock more than any team in the NBA. Unsurprisingly, the Cavs also held the best record in the league for this stretch. Since Garland's return, Cleveland is 7th in passes per games. While other factors influence their overall play, the increase in ball movement feels like the biggest adjustment Garland is struggling to make. It feels like he is the one keeping the ball from continuing to flow. This might seem odd for a playmaker as gifted as Garland. It's important to note the difference between a talented on-ball creator and learning how to impact the game without it. Last season, Garland held the ball for an average of 5.4 seconds per touch, 4th highest in the NBA. This year, even with Cleveland's shift in the offensive approach, Garland still ranks in the top 10 for the average time of possession. All this to say, Garland is a ball-dominant guard who rarely has to play away from the rock. Naturally, this is a concern when pairing Garland next to another high-usage player in Mitchell. Yet, Mitchell had the 10th highest usage rate in the NBA last season, and that did not stop the Cavs from being a 51-win team. Nor did it impact any of the advanced analytics for both guards shared the floor. All of which suggests that Garland and Mitchell pairing is an explosive one. So what's the catch? Well, anyone who watched the Cavs last year could sense it a bit. It was more of your turn, my turn from the Cavs backcourt, a 1-2 punch that could work separately, with one guard taking the charge while the other sat back until it was late his turn to strike. Considering Cleveland's offense was much more stagnant last season, this only made sense. The Cavs need Garland to step it up though. This means not only finding his range, but embracing being an off-ball presence. Too far often, Garland can be found struggling half-court line when the ball is out of his hands. It's time to get involved in the action and maximize this team's potentials. For this team to be at its personal best in the playoffs, Cleveland needs Garland to be someone who Mitchell can learn to relieve the pressure. He needs to be an evolved version of the guy who made an all-star team just 2 years ago. His on-ball work and decision-making will be crucial. But to the other skills, Garland hasn't fully fleshed out yet. Garland has to prove he is capable of being more. Now with the pairing of Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, there's no reason to try and fix something that's not broken. I see zero evidence of how Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley being on the floor simultaneously is hurting Cleveland. It actually appears to be helping from my vantage point. It's neither their faults that the Cavs' perimeter defense is getting blown by, and their defensive rating this season is at a 111, which is significantly worse than last year at a 109 and the previous year, which was a 103. Allen and Mobley have had to clean up messes more often than not defensively, leaving them outside of the paint to contest or switching onto quicker players they could be. That's not their fault, and it also makes logical sense that they're not rebounding after stops since they're out of position. On offense, there is an argument that both together will not allow for floor spacing and will clog the paint, but I personally disagree. While there may be room for them to work together with Mobley at the 5, Allen offers a more reliable pick-and-roll partner with diving gravity. Defenders may pay attention to him as a lob threat over the top, and when the ball gets off of a pass, he can spray out of the roll to the corner to find his fellow big man in the dunker spot for an easy 2. If Max Strus and George Niang keep slowly breaking out of their skids, that'll make people quickly forget. Allen is essential to the Cavs operation, as is Mobley. Together they make each other way better for this team. Each can play with the new guys in different facets too. In conclusion to this, yes, they can all play together and it did work and it will work. But also yes, it'll take improvements and more time to gel together. But overall, they're here to stay as a core 4 for the future.